So I've decided to start a vlog. I'm going to trip through the major arcana of the tarot. I'm going to do a card every fortnight for a year, well, nearly a year at the end. It'll end just before a year, but at the end that'll give time to sort of reflect. But I thought I'd vlog the process, so you know, throughout each 2 weeks with each of the cards. I'm going to put together some videos, and I want to incorporate, it's not just about understanding the card, it's about incorporating it into daily life, to really really assimilate the meanings, and to really be part of the lesson of each of the cards. So yeah, I hope you'll join me. I've been wanting to sort of do a thorough sort of journey, just really immerse myself in the tarot for a while, and I thought it best to start with the major arcana, and I really wanted to spend time just thinking about it in daily life. So I decided to do the two weeks for each card, which takes it up to nearly a year. But it means that it gives me time to really think. I want to understand it. I want to bring in its energies into my life. So things like the Fool being about innocence and beginnings, and you know, the Fool is the number 0. He's not fixed. Even though he's kind of at the beginning of the major arcana, he's not fixed in place. He travels throughout as a journeyman, if you will. The Fool to me is about innocence, about, you know, taking a leap of faith, joy, doing without thinking too much, taking the first steps, maybe the first initial ideas about things. Actually, when I decided, it wasn't until I decided to do this little project, and I decided I'm going to vlog about it. I've been wanting to sort of vlog as a creative kind of vent for quite a while, but I wasn't too sure. Like, I'm into tarot, I'm into perfume, I'm a qualified aromatherapist, but tarot is deeply ingrained in my life, and has been for over 20 years now, 22 years around about. And I use them to inspire me, to guide me, as a brainstorming tool, all manner of things. I'm also a singer-songwriter, so I've written songs inspired by tarot. I've made perfumes inspired by tarot. I mean, tarot is deeply ingrained in my lifestyle. I just find it wonderful. But I want to, before I get to the 23rd year, let's do the major arcana, 22 cards. I was managing an essential oil dispensary for the last 4 years, and I was made redundant. The shop shut down. It's been a hard road. It's been quite difficult. It's quite scary. You know, can I do it? Can I start my own thing properly? You know, will it work? How do I do it? How do I begin? Where do I start? And so this sort of seemed to come up at a very serendipitous time for me. And then I realized I've been having trouble sleeping, where I'm not falling asleep until 4, 5, 6, 7 in the morning. I'm not having to get up for work and things like that. And then it became this pattern where I just couldn't get tired until, you know, at least 5 in the morning. And so then I'd be sleeping until sort of 11, 12, midday, and I can't, when I'm wanting to start a business and get things done, you can't be sleeping half the day away, you know. So I decided to stay awake all night, not last night but the night before. That's when the idea came to me about doing the Fool's Journey. I realised that Imbolc had passed, a week or so ago, which I'd just missed because I'd just been so all over the place. And I was up as the dawn was approaching, which was just so full, like the beginning dawn, and it was beautiful and warm, and I was just like, wow, it's like spring. And then I realized, oh, Imbolc's just gone. It is coming up to spring. And then I realized that it's full moon today, and it's also a partial lunar eclipse, and I was just like, wow. I mean, how serendipitous. So that's kind of the story of why, the why and the how of me doing this journey. And I hope that you guys will come along with me. But I definitely want to start vlogging, and I thought, what perfect, you know, this is the perfect time, the perfect chance. So I don't know how it's going to go. I don't know exactly what it's going to involve, but today we're going to start with the full. So I'll see you soon. So I wanted to have a little bit of a chat about the different ways that the full can be depicted in different decks, and how that can change the meaning or bring in different influences based on different imagery. I'm just looking at my notes. Bear with me. So I've got a few different cards from different decks here to go through. But first I wanted to just have a little bit of a chat about what the full kind of means to me. Just some key words. So for me it's kind of about finding my joy, formulating ideas and plans, seeking knowledge and understanding about my journey, letting go of expectations, living in the now, travelling light, simplifying and decluttering. So these are some of the things that I want to start bringing in, you know, in the 2 weeks that I work with the full. These are some of the ideas that I want to work with and start to incorporate into my life, so that I'm actually living the full, if that makes sense. Protecting myself, trusting my instincts and my path, being open to new opportunities, optimism, getting excited, innocence, and an understanding and belief that all things are possible. So those are sort of the main ideas so far, and kind of how I see the full. But I just wanted to go through a few cards just to sort of show you my my understanding. So the full in the Smith-Waite deck is, you know, it's very well known. We've all seen it, and it's the deck that many decks are based on, loosely or not so loosely. But generally it shows a guy standing on a cliff about to step off. He's got a dog at his foot sort of yapping up at him as a warning. He's got a rose in his hand, he's holding a knapsack, and he's numbered 0. So, I mean, essentially he's about sort of the beginning of the journey. He's the guy who's going through the rest of the arcana. He's the hero, he's the journeyman. So he's going to travel through the lessons of the magician and the high priestess and the empress and the emperor and the hierophant and so on. And this is what I'm hoping to do over the next year. So, you know, the fall in general is about sort of just taking a leap of faith, going for it. You know, optimism and excitement, but also being aware of the perils and pitfalls. Yeah, so I'll just show you a few other cards that are similar. So then we've got the Fool from the Witch's Tarot, and as you can see, very similar. Great colouring in this deck. So exactly the same. He's on the cliff, he's got a dog at his foot, he's got the knapsack, he's got the flower in his hand. In this case the dog isn't actually yapping at his feet, but he's kind of running off the other way, going kind of, come on this way, you're gonna go over the edge if you don't look out. And the Fool's just la 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 la. And again, in the Mucha Tarot, this case it's a female, but still exactly the same. She's on the edge of a cliff, she's got her knapsack, she's got the little dog at her feet, she's la 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 along on her journey. She's actually about to trip on the bottom of her dress. So she's actually standing on the bottom of her dress. And so again, it's a warning to, you know, be carefree. Don't be afraid to make a leap, but don't do it blindly. Don't do it completely blindly. Have a little bit of care in your carefreeness, if that makes sense. So then I've got a few others that are slightly different, but still carry that same meaning. So we've got the Fool from the Steampunk. So he's a chimney sweep. You know, he's not about to jump off a cliff, but he is on the rooftop. So, and he's got his little dog up there with him, and he's got his chimney sweep thing. And he's kind of, he's smiling. He's very sort of optimistic. There's a great sense of optimism, and there's the dawn in the background, and it gives a great sense of a new day, a new adventure, which again is what the Fool sort of embodies. So here we have the Fool from the Housewives Tarot. Great little deck. Well, she's just tripping along with her handbag, stuff's flying out willy-nilly. She's up on the roof of a house. She's not paying any attention to what she's doing. She's got places to go, things to do, people to see. Another great depiction. But again, not a care in the world, perfectly happy. She's having a great old time. So now we've got the Fool from the Nicoletta Ciccoli deck. This is so this is sort of quite different from the others. This is more about the marching to the beat of your own drum. You know, listening to your inner instincts, your inner rhythms, and moving forward. If that makes sense. This is the Vanessa Tarot. So she's hitchhiking. She's got her suitcase. She's got the little dog. She doesn't have a white rose, but there's a red rose here in the ground. And she's off on an adventure. And you know, she's got to be wary too. There's a cactus right behind her that could prick her. But you know, hitchhiking's dangerous, so be careful. But you know, have a good time. This is the Victorian Romantic. So this is sort of going back to the court jester. Maybe not quite as far back as court jesters, but that kind of acting the fool, playfulness, just having a good time, innocence, fun. You know, be careful not to fall off your little pedestal there. She's got the little dog yapping at her feet. She's playing up to the audience. She's having a great old time, having an adventure. This is the Fool from the Zombie Tarot. Another great deck from the same people that do the Housewives Tarot. So he's just, the look on his face. I mean, he's perfectly happy. He's just la la la, strolling through a cemetery, not a care in the world. There's no dog, but there is a vulture up here. He's got his picnic basket instead of a knapsack. Instead of his rose, he's got a wreath. He's off to meet someone for a lovely picnic. And, oh, be careful. Look out for zombies coming out to get you. And the last one, this is from the Good Tarot. So this one is quite removed from the others. It's really just going for the sense of following your calling, which is sort of similar to the following the beat of your own drum, the Nicoletta Ciccoli one. But yeah, it's heeding the call to do what you know inside you feels right, as long as you're not hurting anyone, you know, and you're being careful, and you know, don't be afraid to sort of be true to yourself and follow your calling. So that's a few different cards from different decks. I've got a lot of different decks, so you know, as we go through all the different cards over the next weeks, I will be bringing out different decks for different cards. What was I going to say? So that's kind of really all I'm going to talk about the tarot. This is more of an introduction in this video, so I am working with the Fool for the next 2 weeks. So I'll be making more videos on the Fool, and I really appreciate you joining me. Hopefully you'll tune in again next time, and yeah, that's all for now. Just a quick little interception to apologise for all the facial rubbing. It's coming up to spring. I'm getting a bit hay fevery, and you know, really itchy eyes, itchy nose. So I do apologise. Hope you forgive me. Bear with me. So I just wanted to thank you for coming along with me on this, and I hope to see you next time. So ta-da, cheery.